So this is update with Dobie. Now, a couple things off the top. Is this video supposed to be up and down format? I'm filming with my iPhone. Maybe not, because if I upload this to YouTube, would it look good in the video? I don't know. I don't know enough about that at the moment, and I have no doubt that I will at some point know more about that stuff. What is, obviously it's in the name. It's in the name, update with Dobie. Play on words off of another thing that has the word update in it. The house that I'm in is basically not soundproof at all, like whatsoever. Not my favorite. I mean, it's a beautiful house. It makes it kind of a little awkward to be recording this, because I'm sure people are hearing all of this, and this must be very odd. But odd or not, all right, odd or not, it's pretty good. From 0 to 100, it's like a 90 setup. It's like a pretty good setup. So I opened my Pepsi, and as I opened it, I thought, darn, I should have waited for the recording to start before opening it. I really want to have a podcast which revolves around success and figuring things out as a young person. I like lifting. So basically what this is it's an update. What is going on in my life? What am I doing? Where am I going? Where have I been sometimes? Etc. So today was a big day for me because big decision time. 2 weeks ago, I was in Southern California. Now I'm in a small town in Utah, heartland of Utah. And basically, just over, say, 2.5 weeks ago, I was washing cars for Beverly Hills Porsche through a third-party contractor, who then turned around, and instead of the third-party contractor having employees, the third-party contractor turned around and wanted to contract me as a third-party contractor, which is definitely a redundancy, and it cuts me out of money, and it kind of screws me over with taxes. And all would have been fine and well, except I hadn't turned in my 1099. He didn't like that. He didn't really, the guy I worked for didn't really make a big deal about me not getting it in. I mean, he did and he didn't. Like, he just, he didn't, I don't know. He said turn it in. I never did. He never seemed to have a problem with it. But then when payday came, he just never paid me. And then I had a problem with not getting paid. And then he said that get that form in and you'll get paid. I was at fault. Could he have been better about it? Yes. Could I have been better about it? Definitely. Didn't like that situation. Not in love with diet sodas, but it's something. And anyways, so I get canned. Not my favorite thing. And my grandma had offered to bring me up to her house and put me through trade school. See this paper? I don't know if the camera's going to let you read it front-wise or if the camera will reverse it and it'll be backwards. But it says automation technology. And this is basically, if we Google what automation technology is, what does the World Wide Web say? Automation Technologies Inc. Excuse me. Automation Technologies Inc.com. Oh, it says what the company does. Okay. Let me type in what is automation technology. It says Harmonic Drive SE says automation technology comprises all processes and work equipment that enable plants and systems to run automatically. These include machines, apparatus, equipment, and other devices. Human intervention is minimal. So basically, since I am the human that will be intervening, I'm supposed to be, and I will be, God willing, God, all the glory goes to God. I'll be trained to maintain and repair these and reprogram these things. Some of it can be CNC machining. Some of it can be electronic systems. I think that's called PLC. I think is what it's called. There's a lot of these terms I've never even really heard of, but you would hear on a constant basis if you're in the industry. Like a lot of industries, terms you don't hear unless you're in the industry. This year I really wanted to lift. When I say this year, I mean 2025. 2024 is already over. I wanted to lift weights and do my push-ups, and I wanted to be on top of social media and have a social media presence, expand out into social media. I don't necessarily expect to be rewarded for any content that isn't necessarily remarkable. I also don't hope to be underviewed. In the end, usually value goes, credit is given where credit is due usually. And credit is given usually where there's value present. Again, I don't necessarily expect to be compensated for anything that I haven't earned, but I also don't expect to not be compensated for things in a generous way, such as social media often does provide. If you're wondering what I just said and you think, oh, does he just start to speak Chinese? A lot of noodles up here. And sometimes I don't really care if people understand what I'm saying, the average person understands what I'm saying, or if it's socially smooth to say what I'm saying, and that was one of those moments, as you just witnessed. What would be good is if I do a couple line items. Okay, so there's a couple different topics I could mention here. One is dating, one is career, one is money, one is coding, one is attention media. I'll start with dating. Do I plan on dating for 2025? No. I don't plan on, in my church, we have what's called a singles ward. Maybe some churches call it a parish, maybe some churches call it a diocese or a district or I don't know. We call them wards in my church. And I go to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, in case you're wondering. It's Jesus Christ's church. And the official name is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, because these are the last days. And why we're called saints, I don't know. Maybe because we try to follow Jesus. Not all of us are perfect at it or successful at it in entirety, but that is what we're trying to do. And maybe that's why I don't really know why we're called saints, why we call ourselves saints. But it's not to be pretentious. Sometimes people may act pretentious, but sometimes people may act down to earth. It's just like life. You get a lot of different things, good and bad. Okay, Jesus is perfect, but not everyone who goes to his church, including myself, is perfect. So that's all I'm going to say about that for now. But yeah, in our church we have a singles ward. You're 18 to 30. They just recently extended the age range. You could be up to 35 and be in the same group, the same pool. Now, in some scenarios, they segment different activities, different social things, social events or whatever, from 26 to 35 or from 18 to 26. And me being 29, I would fall under the 26 to 35 group. They don't always separate them. Again, as long as you're between 18 and 35, you're in the clear. Above 35, you really shouldn't be going. You're not necessarily welcome to go, and if you do go, you're in violation of the protocol. But I have a while before, I think. But I don't even want to go to that at all. I just don't. I don't have any money. I don't have any career. I don't want to go. Maybe meet someone who I like and do that whole what could be considered a game of trying to get them to like you or trying to whatever, all that stuff. Not really interested in doing that for the foreseeable future. So dating doesn't really exist for 2025. Career. Now this is where I am. I'm going to school for automation technology. Career will start at the end of the year because this program will probably take me about 9-10 months to get through. And then I'll probably get a job, hopefully, immediately, as long as it's a good job. And I have no doubt that I'll learn. Now, I really should put money after coding. I'll jump to coding, come back to money. A lot of what I'm going to be doing, so automation technology, you're working with CNC drilling, CNC machines. And CNC machines is basically a very fancy, I'll try to give you a proper definition. I'm going to explain it if I were to explain it in my book, it's like a big fancy drill that can drill it with very, how would you say it? Basically a drill that can do anything you program it to do in any direction, and it doesn't stop, and it uses drill bits that are sharper and harder than steel to shape and cut steel. You could really machine anything you want to, and you're usually machining steel, and even very fine steel. Again, the drills are they're made out of tungsten, which is harder than steel. Otherwise, how could you drill steel with something that's equally as strong? You have to get something stronger. So anyways, that's one part of things. Another part of what they're going to teach me is systems. So basically in a factory you have, the red button, the green button, all that stuff, start and stop, and reset, and on and off, and you wire it. So basically a lot of what I'm going to be learning is to be an electrician, to wire those type of things. Now, do they teach me specific home applications like, dealing with drywall and whatever would be involved in a home? Not necessarily. A lot of it's compatible, crosser overable. Specifically, what I'm going to learn is to a factory manufacturing factory application. Sometimes referred to as warehouses, although technically warehouses would be just for storage, not for production, but there's also production warehouses. So, you could use the term warehouse too. Where I come from, it's all called warehouse. Even if it's a production plant or a factory, usually people call it a warehouse. And there is also warehouses for storage, which people also call warehouse. I don't know what part if in other parts of the country people call it by different terms, but that's where I'm from. That's how they refer to it, that type of stuff. So, but yeah, basically that's part of it. And part of it's robotics. There are robotic arms which weld things. There are robotic arms which pick up things, which package things, which, open and close boxes, put things into boxes, you name it. Automation technology involves programming those robots. Now, why do I mention coding? Because me learning coding or programming or web development, whatever you want to call it, scripting, is going to happen with automation technology. It's also going to happen if I want to do websites and marketing. And I'm not just talking about social media marketing. When you market, you do things on social media. Sure, you can and usually do, and perhaps these days in almost all cases you do. Marketing also exists independent of social media, with Google searches, SEO, search engine optimization. People, I think, don't realize how vital search engine optimization is to this day. I want to take control of markets entirely. Say, for example, as a very generic example, house cleaning. I want to take control over house cleaning in a particular city entirely. And to do that, you're going to need marketing. And people may argue that you can't really have a real business without being involved in the operations. If you're only involved in the marketing, you only are dealing with half of the side of the business. And I'm not saying that's entirely not true, but if I'm going to learn coding, I'm going to make it worth my while. And I'm going to dive way deeper and more comprehensively than what simply automation technology would require me to do. With money, money's going to come. Kind of ran out of time to talk about money. I'm trying to keep this thing under 15. Thank you for joining me today. This has been the update with Dobie. I want to have a podcast, which is not necessarily this. I don't exactly know what this is, with all due respect, but I'm going to put it on my YouTube page. If I keep posting things, then I'll have something built together. If I never post anything, then I won't ever have anything put together. Please have a beautiful week. Please accomplish your dreams. Be good to yourself and to other people, and go for it. And full send. Why not? No, seriously. Full send. Alright, guys. Catch you on the flip flop. Thanks.